Hey everyone, welcome to Charlotte Motor Speedway for the NASCAR iRacing Class C Fixed Series Data Pack. This week's going to be a lot of fun. I think we'll have some multi-groove racing, especially through turns 1 and 2. So let's get right to it. I'm going to hit test at the top. I'm going to shift into first gear, and pit road speed is 50 miles per hour here. And you'll notice the walls are really yellow. So this week you should have no trouble avoiding those walls. They're nice and easy to see. Me, on the other hand, not so much. But anyway, here we go. On our first get up to speed lap, we're going to run high through 3 and 4 to get a good run towards the line, but we're still not going to be quite at top speed when we hit the line. So that means our second lap is going to be significantly faster, almost a tenth of a second. So as we start our first lap here, you'll notice through 1 and 2, it's just really easy to get through 1 and 2 wide open. Really not too difficult. And we want to use that white line at the bottom there to help the truck turn. So especially through 3 and 4, because 3 and 4, the truck does not want to turn quite as well. So here we go through 3 and 4. I'm going to get down to that white line, run it over if we possibly can, and I'm going to probably run a high 8 or a 9 here. Ran an 88, so that's quite a bit off of what I'm going to run on the second lap. You'll notice here I'm going to get right down to that white line, and it's a little bit more difficult through 1 and 2 when we're completely up to speed. And 3 and 4, same thing as the first lap. We're going to get down to that white line, and we're going to try to run a low 8 here. See if we can maybe even get in the 7s. Oh. Alright, so a 78. That's my personal best. So that's definitely a really good lap. I think that would probably be close to the pole in the top split, and probably pole for any other split that you might find yourself in. It depends. But through 3 and 4 here on my third lap, truck gets really tight, so I had to lift there, and you'll notice that I'll have to lift 3 and 4 for the rest of the run. 1 and 2, I can do about 7 or 8 laps before I have to start lifting for 1 and 2. Coming to lap 8, I definitely feel like I need to start lifting through 1 and 2, and it's not because I can't go wide open, it's just because I feel like I'm abusing my right front tire if I do. And we're going to be doing 35 laps here. I definitely know the caution's not going to be coming out. So I definitely want to take care of my tires, make sure I get to 35 laps, with a right front still on the truck. And if I was doing just a 10-lap run to the end, yeah, sure, I could run wide open through 1 and 2 for 10 laps. But in this case, we're gonna save our tires, get the best run we possibly can. We're on lap 15 here, and the truck just gets significantly tighter throughout the run. Each and every lap that goes by, feel like it takes a little bit longer for me to get wide open, and that's typical. With the setup this tight, the right front is just going to heat up more and more, and it's going to wear more and more, and it's going to be more and more difficult to get that foot down. And don't be surprised, at the end of this run, you're just going to be really tight, and unless you're doing some kind of really weird tire saving strategy that probably isn't going to work. Everybody's going to be dealing with the same thing, the same tightness, and you just got to really manage your tires as best as you can, but you can't sacrifice too much speed here, otherwise you'll just get too far behind. Taking lap 25, you might be thinking, man, Black, how's this outside line going to come in if that white line helps the car turn, and you're running the bottom of the track on these hot laps. So back in a couple of years ago, iRacing made an update to all the tracks, and they almost have more fidelity now as far as the banking and a lot of the other characteristics about the tracks. So that's when we started running high at Bristol and a couple other tracks, and even here the outside seemed to get a little bit better. And this was long before the dynamic track model was ever released. So in combination with that update, the dynamic track model is really gonna, come to life here. It's gonna be a lot of fun for you guys, and the outside's probably gonna work pretty well with this inside being the preferred lane. It's gonna heat up more, and you really need all the track you possibly can get off these turns. And if you don't have all that track, and you're side by side with somebody, it's going to be really difficult, and you're probably going to have to get out of the gas a lot more than normal. And that guy on the outside, or that girl on the outside, is going to have a huge run off the turn, and might be able to hold you off for a few laps. So you got to be patient. Taking lap 34, we're doing 35 laps, so these last few laps have been pretty sketchy, and I've had to let completely out of the throttle on a few occasions, and especially through 3 and 4, the truck definitely wants to slide out on the exit of 4, and it's really easy to just cream that wall and end your race. So be careful with that, and as you'll see here, the truck just is really bogging down off the turns now. We're not carrying near enough speed through the turns to make the most out of our engine, but we're almost falling off about 2 seconds. And here on my last lap, it's definitely losing even more time this lap. Did a 47 last lap, so I anticipate that going even slower this lap. But overall, that white line is definitely going to help you. The more you can hit it, the better off you'll be. And if somebody tries to pass you low, you might have a shot at holding them off. Alright, so that was a 50 on my last lap of the run. This track's a lot of fun, and if you make the most out of the grip that is given to you by the white line, you can definitely save your right front tire quite a bit. Don't run high unless you absolutely have to. If you're trying to pass somebody, or if you're running side by side trying to hold somebody off, then run the outside. But it's not going to be like the leader is running high all the way around the track. But you do have that option if you do start racing someone. The truck overall is pretty tight for me. If these races go green, you can sacrifice your long run speed and try to make up as much track position as you can, or you can save your right front tire, hope it goes green, and you might be able to pass everybody. Even if the leader gets pretty far out there, you might be able to make up a bunch of time on them at the end of the race. So it all depends on the cautions. So see who's in your race, see if you think it's going to go green. Maybe analyze people in warm up, see if they're if you think that they're able to do it. But overall, everybody's going to be pretty close in speed, so I expect some really tight racing, a lot of contact possibly, just because everybody's got to get everything they possibly can here, because everybody's so close in speed. That's all I got for this week. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.